The day humans realized they were not alone in the universe started like any other. Captain Tom Harris stood on the bridge of the UES Pioneer, Earth's first true deep space vessel. His weathered face showed both pride and worry as the ship pushed, further from home than any human had ever gone. "Captain, we're picking up unusual signals," said Lisa, the communications officer. Her eyes were fixed on the screen in front of her. "What kind of signals?" Tom walked over, his boots making soft sounds on the metal floor. "Not random, sir. Definitely made by someone. Or something." The crew grew quiet. After decades of searching the stars, humanity might finally have its answer. "Track it," Tom ordered. "Let's see where it leads." For 3 days, the Pioneer followed the strange signals. On the 4th day, they found themselves facing something impossible. A massive structure floating in space at least 20 times the size of their ship. "Is that a space station?" asked Mike, the pilot. Before anyone could answer, a beam of light hit their ship. The crew braced for damage, but instead their screens flickered and showed a face, not human, but not completely alien either. It had 2 eyes, a mouth, and what looked like skin, but everything was just different enough to seem wrong. "Greetings, biological entities," the being said in perfect English. "We are the Assembly. Your signals have been monitored for some time. Your approach was expected." Tom straightened his uniform and stepped forward. "I am Captain Tom Harris of the United Earthship Pioneer. We come in peace as explorers." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Explorers? With your primitive technology? Interesting. We have been watching your world for centuries. Your wars, your pollution, your endless fighting. You are savages who somehow managed to build a spaceship." The word savages hung in the air like a bad smell. "We are a young species," Tom admitted, "but we are learning and growing. We wish to join the galactic community." The alien's face showed what might have been pity. "The Assembly does not accept savages as equals. However, we are not cruel. You will be allowed limited trading rights, nothing more." Over the next week, the Pioneer's crew learned more about the Assembly, a group of 15 advanced species who controlled most of the known galaxy. They had rules, laws, and a clear order where newer, less advanced species served the older ones. Ambassador Jane Reed, the mission's diplomatic expert, tried daily to improve relations. "We have much to offer," she told their alien hosts during a meeting. "Art, music, new ways of thinking." "Savage art and primitive music," replied the alien representative named Dorn. "And your ways of thinking led to nearly destroying your own planet several times." In private, the ship's military advisor, Bill, argued for caution. "They're looking down on us, Captain. That's dangerous. People who think others are savages don't treat them well." "What would you have me do?" Tom asked. "Start a fight with beings who could probably destroy Earth with a push of a button?" "No," Bill said, "but don't trust them either." After 2 weeks of talks, the Assembly reached a decision. Earth would be granted minor trading status and permission to explore certain areas of space, but they would not be given advanced technology, and Earth would have to accept a supervisory delegation, Assembly members who would live on Earth to guide human development. Everyone knew what that really meant. They would be watched. Controlled. When the Pioneer returned to Earth with several Assembly representatives, the news spread worldwide. Some people celebrated first contact. Others warned it was the beginning of the end. At the United Nations, Ambassador Reed presented the Assembly's terms. "They offer us knowledge and limited technology in exchange for resources and allowing their delegation to monitor our progress." "They called us savages," Bill reminded everyone. "Now they want to move in and watch us. Does no one see the danger?" World leaders argued for days. In the end, fear won over pride. The Assembly's terms were accepted. 6 Assembly ships arrived 1 month later, bringing 50 delegates from various species. They built a compound in what was once international waters and began their supervision of humanity. Captain Tom found himself promoted to head of extraterrestrial relations. a fancy title that mostly meant he had to listen to assembly complaints about human behavior. "Your people continue to fight wars, Dorn," now the lead delegate told him during their weekly meeting. "3 armed conflicts still rage on your planet." "We're working on it," Tom replied. "Thousands of years of history don't change overnight. Other species managed it," Dorn said with that same look of pity. The assembly delegates brought gifts, medical knowledge that cured several diseases, more efficient energy technology, and improved farming methods. But they held back anything related to their advanced space travel, weapons, or communication systems. "When you prove yourselves less savage," Dorn would say when asked. By the end of the first year, Earth had changed. Assembly technology had helped with climate problems and food shortages, but human independence was shrinking. Any new space mission needed assembly approval. Military technology development was restricted. Even the internet was monitored for dangerous ideas. One night, Tom sat with Jane and Bill on the roof of the Earth Space Agency building looking at the stars. "We traded our freedom for some fancy tech," Bill said, drinking from his coffee cup. "We had no choice," Jane replied. "They're too powerful to fight." Tom remained quiet, watching an assembly ship glide silently across the night sky. He thought about the word savage and how it had been used throughout human history. Always, by those who believed themselves superior to justify controlling others. "Maybe they're right about us," he finally said. "We do fight too much. We did nearly destroy our planet." "That doesn't make us savages," Bill argued. "It makes us human. We make mistakes, we learn, we grow, on our own terms. For now, we play by their rules," Tom said. "We learn everything we can from them. And we prepare." "Prepare for what?" Jane asked. Tom watched the assembly ship disappear into the darkness. "For the day we prove we're not what they think we are." None of them knew that day would come much sooner than expected, with the discovery of something that would change everything, a ship more advanced than anything the assembly had ever seen. 5 years passed since humanity's first contact with the assembly. Earth had changed in many ways. Assembly technology had improved life for many, with better medicine, cleaner energy, and faster travel. But the feeling of being watched never went away. The assembly delegates were everywhere, always watching, always judging. Captain Tom Harris, now Admiral Harris, still served as Earth's main contact with the aliens. He had grown tired of their constant looks of disapproval. On a cold winter morning, Tom sat in his office reviewing reports when his computer beeped. A message marked urgent appeared on his screen from the deep space research vessel Horizon. "Admiral, we found something. Something big. Cannot share details over normal channels. Request secure meeting." The message was from Dr. Anna Wilson, the lead scientist on humanity's most distant research mission. The assembly had only approved the mission because they thought it would find nothing important. 6 hours later, Tom sat in a secure room deep under the old United Nations building in New York. A large screen on the wall came to life, showing Anna's face. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "Show me what you found," Tom said without greeting. "Sir, we were exploring the edge of what the assembly calls dead space, an area they said had nothing of value." Anna's eyes were wide with excitement. They lied. The screen changed to show what looked like a massive ship, unlike anything Tom had ever seen. It floated silently in the blackness of space, at least 3 times larger than the biggest assembly vessel. "What am I looking at?" Tom asked. "A ship, sir, but not assembly design, not even close, and according to our scans, it's at least 100,000 years old." Tom leaned forward. 100,000? That's older than human civilization. "Much older," Anna agreed. "And here's the interesting part. It's not dead. There's still power running through some systems." Over the next hour, Anna explained how her team had found the ancient ship and managed to board it. The inside was strange. Not built for beings like the assembly species or humans. The technology was far beyond even what the assembly used. "Have you told them?" Tom asked. Anna shook her head. "No, sir. Given how they treat us, I thought it best to contact you first." "Good call," Tom said. "Keep this quiet. I'll send Bill and a team of our best engineers to help." Learn everything you can before the assembly finds out. For 2 months, Earth's best scientists worked in secret to understand the ancient ship. They learned it had weapons systems far beyond assembly technology. Its engines could move faster than anything known. Most importantly, they found a way to partially activate its systems. Captain Joe Black, now in charge of the Horizon, reported directly to Tom. "Sir, we've managed to get some of the ship's computer working. It's incredible. This thing could outfight an entire assembly fleet. Do we understand how to use it?" Tom asked. "Not fully," Joe admitted. "But we're learning fast." Then came the day they all feared. An assembly patrol ship detected unusual energy readings and investigated. Within hours, Dorn demanded a meeting with Earth's leaders. "You have found technology that does not belong to you," Dorn said, his usually calm voice now sharp. "The assembly demands you surrender this dangerous artifact immediately." World President Maria Garcia stood firm. The ship was found in unclaimed space by an authorized Earth expedition. By the assembly's own laws, that makes it ours. "Laws for civilized species," Dorn replied coldly. "Not savages who cannot understand the danger. That ship belongs to the predecessors, a species that vanished long ago. Such technology is too dangerous for humans." "We disagree," President Garcia said. "We will continue to study it." Dorn's face showed something new: fear. "Then you leave. Us no choice. The Assembly Council will decide how to handle this problem." That night, Tom met with Bill and Jane in the same secure room. "They're scared," Bill said with a small smile. "For the first time, they're actually scared of us." "Because they know what that ship can do," Jane added. "The question is, do we?" Tom looked at the latest reports from the Horizon team. "Not yet, but we're close." "We should give it up," Jane said suddenly. Both men looked at her in surprise. "The Assembly controls most of the galaxy. If they decide we're a threat, they could destroy Earth." "They might try anyway," Bill argued. "Think about it. If we have technology that makes us equal or even stronger than them, will they really let us keep it? They called us savages from day one. They'll never see us as equals." 3 days later, the Assembly Council made its decision. Earth had 48 hours to surrender the ancient ship or face serious consequences. President Garcia called an emergency meeting of Earth's top leaders and military commanders. "If we give up the ship, we remain under their control forever," Tom said to the room. "If we keep it, we risk war with a power that controls most of the galaxy." "But we have the ship," Bill reminded everyone, "which might be more powerful than their entire fleet." "Might be," Jane emphasized. "We don't know for sure." The debate raged for hours. In the end, President Garcia made the final call. "We keep the ship, we continue to learn from it, but we also try one more time for peace." She looked at Tom. "Admiral Harris, you'll deliver our answer. We will not surrender the ship, but we offer to share any non-military knowledge we gain from it. That's the best they're going to get." Tom delivered the message personally to Dorn. The Assembly representative's face showed no emotion, but his voice was cold. "You have made your choice, Admiral. Remember this moment when your people suffer the consequences of your savage pride." As Tom left the Assembly compound, he received an urgent message from Joe on the Horizon. "Admiral, the ship's systems are powering up on their own. It's like it's waking up. And sir, we found something else. Records. Data about why the predecessors disappeared. You need to see this." Before Tom could reply, alarm sirens began to sound across the city. He looked up to see multiple assembly ships moving into Earth's orbit. The Assembly had made their decision too. There would be no more talking. The time for action had come. As Tom rushed to the military command center, he realized humanity was about to find out if they had discovered salvation or doom in that ancient, dangerous ship. The assembly ships moved into Earth's orbit like giant predators circling their prey. Admiral Tom Harris watched the tactical displays with growing dread as more vessels appeared every hour. 17 ships now, sir, reported Commander Rick, the head of Earth's orbital defense. including 3 of their largest class. And how many can we realistically fight? Tom asked, already knowing the answer. Rick hesitated. Maybe 2 if we're lucky. Our technology is still too far behind theirs. The command center buzzed with tense activity as military personnel prepared for what seemed inevitable. 5 years of uneasy peace with the assembly was ending because of one ancient ship. Any word from the horizon? Tom asked. Still trying to establish secure communications, Rick said. The assembly is jamming most frequencies. Jane rushed into the room, her diplomatic uniform wrinkled as if she had been wearing it for days. I just came from an emergency meeting with Dorn. They're calling this a security action, not a war. Does that distinction matter when they're pointing weapons at our planet? Tom asked. It matters because they're not planning to destroy Earth, Jane explained. They want the ancient ship and they want to place us under direct control. No more pretending we have any independence. Bill joined them, his face grim. So either we hand over our only advantage or they take it by force. President Garcia's face appeared on the main screen. Admiral Harris, please report. Tom gave a quick update on the assembly fleet's position and Earth's defensive readiness. And the ancient ship? She asked. Still trying to reach the horizon. Team, Madam President, communications are difficult right now. We need that ship, Admiral. Whatever it can do, whatever secrets it holds, it's our only hope of surviving this. The screen went black as another communication cut in. Captain Joe's face appeared, the image breaking up with static. Admiral, can you hear me? The ship, it's... Static cut across his words. Joe? Captain Black? Repeat your message. Tom ordered. Systems, activating on their own. We can't control... More static. Some kind of defense protocol. It's like it knows the transmission died completely. Get them back, Tom ordered. For 3 tense hours, they tried every possible communication method to reach the horizon. Meanwhile, the assembly fleet moved into attack formation. President Garcia called again. Admiral Dorn just delivered their final ultimatum. We have 1 hour to surrender the ancient ship and accept their protection, or they will take action. Madam President, I recommend we evacuate as many people as possible to the underground shelters. If they attack, already started, she interrupted. But I need options, Admiral, real options. Before Tom could answer, the tactical display lit up with new warnings. Sir, Rick shouted. The assembly flagship is powering weapons, they said. We had an hour, Jane whispered. Looks like they lied, Bill replied. Tom made his decision. Battle stations. All defense platforms prepare to engage. Get our ships in position to protect major population centers. The next few minutes were chaos as Earth's limited defenses prepared for the fight they couldn't win. Then, suddenly, the communications officer called out, Sir, incoming transmission from the horizon. The main screen showed Captain Joe looking both terrified and amazed. Admiral, the ship activated some kind of defensive system when it detected the assembly fleet. We didn't do anything, it acted on its own. What kind of defensive system? Tom demanded. Some kind of energy field. It's expanding rapidly and... Joe looked at something off-screen. My God, it's heading straight for the assembly fleet. On the tactical display, they watched as something moved from the position of the ancient ship toward the assembly vessels. It wasn't a weapon they recognized, more like a wave of energy spreading across space. Get me visual, Tom ordered. The screen split to show actual footage from an Earth satellite. A ripple of blue-green light moved through space. Beautiful, but terrifying. When it reached the first assembly ship, the massive vessel simply stopped. All lights went dark. It drifted lifelessly. The wave continued, touching ship after ship. Each one went dark upon contact. What's happening? Jane asked, her voice, barely a whisper. It's shutting them down, Bill said in awe. Some kind of targeted EMP, maybe? The assembly flagship was the last to be hit. Unlike the others, it managed to fire its weapons before going dark. Energy beams lanced toward Earth. Incoming fire, Rick shouted. The beams struck Earth's orbital defense platforms. 3 exploded instantly, killing everyone aboard. 2 more took heavy damage. Casualties? Tom asked, his voice tight. Early reports show over 200 dead, sir. 4 platforms destroyed or disabled. The room fell silent as everyone processed what had just happened. The assembly had fired, first killing hundreds of humans, but now their entire fleet floated powerless. Sir. Joe's voice came again from the screen. The ship is talking to us, not with words, but through the computer system. It's showing us how to control the energy field, how to board the assembly vessels safely. Keep me updated on everything, Tom ordered. And Captain? Good work out. There. Joe shook his head. We didn't do anything, sir. The ship did it all. It's like it was made to fight the assembly. Over the next few hours, human forces cautiously approached the disabled assembly ships. The crews inside were alive but unable to use any of their technology. Earth's military took control of each vessel without firing a shot. On the flagship, they found Dorn and the other assembly leaders in a state of shock. How did you activate predecessor weapons? Dorn demanded when Tom boarded the ship personally. Your kind shouldn't have been able to understand that technology. We didn't activate anything, Tom told him. The ship did it on its own when you prepared to attack us. Impossible, Dorn insisted, but fear showed clearly on his face. Meanwhile, scientists studying the ancient ship made a breakthrough. Dr. Anna managed to access more of its records, learning pieces of a story that changed everything. Admiral, she reported, the predecessors didn't just disappear, they were wiped out by the assembly, or rather by the species that later formed the assembly. Tom stared at her in disbelief. Are you certain? The records are fragmented but clear enough. The assembly species were once like us, newcomers to the galactic stage. The predecessors welcomed them, shared technology, tried to help them develop, peacefully. In return, once they gained enough power, they attacked and destroyed the predecessors. This ship was part of their last defense system, hidden away in case any predecessors survived. The revelation spread quickly through Earth's leadership. President Garcia called an emergency meeting with Tom and his team. So the assembly's fear wasn't just about us being savages, she said. They were afraid we'd discover their crime, and that we might follow the same path as the predecessors, Jane added. Helping others who would eventually destroy us. What do we do now? Bill asked. We have their fleet. We have the ancient ship. We could end this. Tom looked at the reports coming in from around the world. People were celebrating, thinking the war was over before it truly began. But he knew better. This wasn't a war, he said quietly. It was the first battle. The assembly controls thousands of worlds. They'll send more ships. And we'll be ready, President Garcia declared. The tables have turned. They called us savages. Now they'll learn what happens when those savages are pushed too far. As Tom left the meeting, he wondered if humanity was about to make the same mistake the assembly had, using newfound power to wage war instead of seeking peace. But as reports of the dead came in from the destroyed defense platforms, he also knew there might be no other choice. The assembly had fired first. What came next would be on their heads. The attack on Earth's orbital defenses changed everything. 2,374 people died when the assembly weapons hit the platforms. Each name was read aloud during a global memorial service. Admiral Tom Harris stood with other leaders as the names echoed around the world. After the service, Tom met with President Garcia and what remained of Earth's military command in an underground base in the Rocky Mountains. The assembly has gone silent, Jane reported. We've received no transmissions from their homeworlds or outposts. They're planning, Bill said, gathering a larger force. President Garcia nodded. Our scientists estimate we have 3 weeks, maybe a month before they arrive. The question is, what do we do with that time? All eyes turned to Tom. We scatter, he said simply. Earth is too easy a target. We move as many people as possible to bases on Mars, the Moon, even the outer planets. We hide in the asteroid belt. We become harder to find and harder to kill. And the ancient ship? Asked Garcia. That's our main focus. Dr. Anna and her team have made progress understanding its technology. We need to learn everything we can, as fast as we can. Within days, the largest evacuation in human history began. Millions of people moved to hastily constructed bases across the solar system. Earth's remaining ships spread out, ready to fight using what they'd learned from the ancient vessel. Tom moved his command center to Titan, Saturn's largest moon. From there, he coordinated with Captain Joe and Dr. Anna, who continued working on the ancient ship, now code-named Legacy. 2 weeks after the first attack, Anna made contact. "Admiral, we've accessed more of the Legacy's database," she reported, her face tired but excited on the video screen. The predecessors called themselves the Guardians. They built their civilization around helping young species develop peacefully. "Until the assembly species betrayed them," Tom said. Anna nodded. "Yes. And here's the important part. The Legacy isn't just one ship. It's a prototype. There were plans for hundreds, maybe thousands more hidden throughout the galaxy." "Hidden where?" Tom leaned forward. "We don't know exact locations yet, but the ship contains technology specifically designed to counter assembly weapons. Like, it was made for this exact purpose, to help someone fight them someday." As Anna spoke, alarms blared in the background. "What's happening?" Tom demanded. "Assembly scout ships," Joe's voice called from off-screen. "They found us." The transmission cut off. Tom immediately ordered a battle alert across the solar system. Within hours, reports came in of assembly ships appearing near every major human outpost. But these weren't the same ships as before. They were smaller, faster, and seemed immune to the energy field that had disabled their fleet during the first encounter. "They adapted," Bill said grimly as they watched battle reports come in. "They must have developed shielding against the Legacy's defense system." The first wave of the second attack was brutal. 3 Earth outposts were destroyed before they could even respond. But the scattered human forces made it harder for the assembly to deliver a killing blow. For 3 days, battles raged across the solar system. Humans used hit-and-run tactics, striking quickly then hiding again. The Legacy, now partially under human control, proved valuable despite the assembly's new defenses. Its weapons could still damage their ships, just not disable them completely as before. On the 4th day, Captain Joe managed to make contact from the Legacy. "Admiral, we're holding our position, but barely. The assembly forces are focusing most of their attention on us. They want this ship destroyed at all costs." "Can you get to safety?" Tom asked. "We have a better idea," Joe replied. Dr. Anna found something in the ship's records, locations of possible Guardian outposts where more technology might be hidden. "We're sending you the coordinates now." The PAR data came through showing 3 locations in nearby star systems. "We'll draw their attention while you send teams to these coordinates," Joe continued. "If we're lucky, we might find more ships like the Legacy, or at least technology we can use." "And if you're not lucky?" Tom asked quietly. Joe's face was calm despite the sounds of battle in the background. "Then it's been an honor, Admiral." Tom wasted no time. He assembled 3 small, fast teams led by his best officers. Using technology, reverse-engineered from the Legacy, they could reach the nearest coordinates in just days, not years. Meanwhile, the battle for the solar system continued. The Legacy and its crew fought bravely, drawing much of the assembly's attention. But Earth forces were taking heavy losses. For every assembly ship they destroyed, they lost 3 of their own. 5 days into the second attack, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Jane, who had been working with captured assembly personnel, rushed into Tom's command center. "Admiral, I've been talking to the assembly crew members we captured. Some of them are willing to help us." "Help us? Why would they do that?" Bill asked, suspiciously. "Because not all assembly species agree with attacking Earth," Jane explained. "Some were forced to join centuries ago, just like they were trying to force us. They've been waiting for a chance to break free." Tom studied Jane's excited face. "What exactly are they offering?" "Information, assembly ship codes, communication frequencies, tactical plans, and most importantly, they say there are others, like them. Many of the species conquered by the assembly would rise up if given the chance." For the first time since the attack began, Tom felt a spark of hope. This wasn't just about humanity's survival now. It was about freedom for many species, as, if to confirm this new possibility, one of the teams sent to find Guardian technology reported in. Admiral, this is Commander Lewis. We found something at the first location. Not a ship, but a facility. It's hidden inside an asteroid. And sir, we're not alone here. Assembly forces? Tom asked quickly. No, sir. Representatives from at least 3 other species. They say they've been searching for Guardian technology too, trying to find a way to break free from assembly control. Tom looked at the star map showing the known assembly territory. Thousands of worlds across, hundreds of star systems. If even a fraction of those worlds joined the fight against their oppressors. Connect me with these representatives, he ordered. It's time we compared notes. Over the next few days, a remarkable alliance began to form. The species Commander Lewis had encountered shared their own discoveries about Guardian technology. Combined with what humans had learned from the legacy, they began to develop new weapons and defenses. On Earth, the remaining humans fought desperately to hold back assembly forces that had landed in key locations. They were fighting for time for the new alliance to grow stronger. At the Legacy's position, Captain Joe and Dr. Anna continued their desperate battle. Their ship had taken heavy damage, but they refused to retreat. We found something else, Anna reported during a brief communication window. The Guardians didn't just build weapons. They created a network, a way for different species to communicate and cooperate across vast distances. Can we access this network? Tom asked. We're trying, Joe replied. If we succeed, we could potentially contact every world under assembly, control simultaneously. The transmission ended as another assembly attack began. Tom stared at the silent screen, hoping it wouldn't be the last time he heard from them. Later that night, as Tom studied reports from across the solar system, Bill joined him. Remember when they called us savages? Bill asked quietly. Tom nodded, not looking up from his work. I've been thinking about that, Bill continued. Maybe being savage isn't such a bad thing. The assembly created this perfect, controlled society where everyone knows their place. Maybe you need a little savagery to fight for freedom. Tom finally looked up, a tired smile on his face. Maybe you're right. And maybe that's why the Guardians left their technology for someone like us to find. As dawn broke over Titan's methane, CE's new reports came in. The tide was beginning to turn. The savages of Earth weren't finished yet, not by a long shot. 6 months passed since the Assembly's attack on Earth. 6 months of fighting, hiding, and building a resistance that stretched across dozens of star systems. Admiral Tom Harris looked older now, his face lined with worry and lack of sleep. But his eyes held something new, hope. He stood in the command center of the human base on Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon. Around him, representatives from 7 different species worked together, monitoring the growing alliance against the Assembly. Status report, Tom called out. Commander Lewis, who had led the first team to discover allies beyond the solar system, stepped forward. Production of new ships based on Guardian technology is at 85% of target. 23 worlds have openly joined our alliance. Another 46 are providing secret support. And the Assembly? Still searching for us, but their forces are spreading. Thin. They can't be everywhere at once. Tom nodded and turned to Jane, who now led diplomatic relations with their new allies. The crawl ships will arrive tomorrow, she reported. That will give us enough firepower for the operation. The operation. After months of planning, the Alliance was ready to strike at the heart of the Assembly, their central command station. It was a bold plan, maybe even foolish. But if they succeeded, they could break the Assembly's control in a single blow. Bill joined them, limping slightly from a wound received during a battle 2 months ago. Legacy team just reported in, he said. They're ready. Legacy team. The name still brought a mix of pride and pain to Tom. Captain Joe had died defending the ancient ship, but Dr. Anna and half the crew had survived. They had spent the last months unlocking more of the Guardian technology, finding ways to activate the vast communication network the ancient species had built. And our guest? Tom asked quietly. Still talking, Bill replied with a grim smile. Their guest was Dorn, captured during the first battle. At first he had refused to cooperate, certain the assembly would crush the human resistance. But as months passed and the alliance grew stronger, he began to share information, not out of loyalty to humans, but from fear of what would happen when his superiors discovered his failure. Tom walked to a small room where Dorn was held. The alien looked smaller somehow, his once proud posture now bent with worry. "The attack is tomorrow," Tom said without greeting. Dorn's eyes widened. "You're still going through with it? You must know it's suicide. The central station is the most heavily defended position in assembly space." "We know. That's why we need the command codes you promised." Dorn hesitated. "And if I provide them, what happens to me?" "You live," Tom said simply, "which is more than your leaders offered us." After a moment, Dorn nodded. "The codes are real. They will get you past them, outer defenses. But the inner chambers, those are protected differently. We'll handle that part," Tom assured him. Later that night, Tom couldn't sleep. He stood at a viewing window, looking out at Jupiter's massive form. Jane found him there, staring into space. "Having doubts?" she asked. "Wondering if we're doing the right thing," Tom admitted. "The Guardians tried to help other species peacefully and they were destroyed for it. We're choosing war." "The Assembly chose war," Jane reminded him. "We're choosing survival. And after, if we win tomorrow, what kind of galaxy do we help build? Do we become the new Assembly, controlling others with our power?" Jane had no answer for that. The next day, ships from all Alliance species gathered at the edge of Assembly space. Over 300 vessels, most using technology adapted from Guardian designs. At their center was the Legacy, its ancient systems, now fully operational under Dr. Anna's guidance. Tom stood on the bridge of the flagship, Earth's newest and most powerful ship, named Guardian, in honor of those who came before. Around him, a mixed crew of humans and allies worked in perfect coordination. "All ships report ready, Admiral," Bill announced. Tom took a deep breath. "Send the signal. Operation Freedom begins now." The fleet moved as one, jumping to the coordinates of the Assembly Central Station. Using Dorn's codes, they bypassed the outer defense grid without firing a shot. The station came into view, a massive structure at the center of a vast network of smaller installations. For a moment, the Assembly forces seemed surprised, unprepared. Then alarms sounded, and defensive. "Weapons powered up. They know we're here," Bill said unnecessarily. "All ships execute Battle Plan Theta," Tom ordered. "Guardian teams prepare for boarding." The battle erupted in flashes of energy and light. Alliance ships moved in precise formation, using tactics developed over months of smaller engagements. The Assembly ships tried to respond, but they were facing technology they hadn't seen before. Guardian weapons adapted by multiple species working together. On the Legacy, Dr. Anna activated the ship's most powerful system. A pulse of energy, spread outward, connecting to hidden Guardian relays throughout Assembly space. Suddenly, on every Assembly-controlled world, communication systems broadcast the same message. "The time has come to be free. The Assembly's control is breaking. Rise up and join us." Tom led the boarding team onto the central station. They fought their way through corridors and chambers, facing increasingly desperate resistance. In the final approach to the central command room, Tom was wounded, an energy blast grazing his shoulder. "Keep going," he ordered the others, pressing his hand against the bleeding wound. They reached the command center and found the Assembly leaders, the original species who had formed the alliance that grew into an empire. They stood tall and proud even in defeat. "You savages," one of them hissed at Tom. "You've destroyed everything we built." "We ended what you built," Tom corrected him. "An empire based on lies and control. You didn't create peace, you created fear." As Alliance forces secured the station, Dr. Anna made another discovery in the Guardian records. She contacted Tom immediately. "Admiral, I found the real reason the Assembly attacked the Guardians," she said, her voice tense with anger. They weren't afraid of Guardian technology. They were afraid of Guardian ideas. "What ideas?" Tom asked. "That all species are equal. That power should be shared, not hoarded. That different civilizations can work together without one controlling the others." "Dangerous ideas indeed," Tom said with a tired smile. Within days, the news spread across Assembly space. World after world declared independence. Some remained loyal to the old order, but they were outnumbered by those eager for freedom. 1 month after the battle, representatives from over 100 species gathered on a neutral world to discuss the future. Tom, now fully recovered from his wound, addressed them. "We stand at a turning point," he said. "We defeated the Assembly, but now we face a greater challenge, building something better in its place." He looked around at the diverse gathering, beings of all shapes, sizes, and evolutionary backgrounds. The Guardians believed species could work together as equals. They were destroyed for that belief. We have a chance to prove they were right, to create a true alliance, not an empire. The debate lasted for days. Some wanted humans to take control, arguing they had led the fight and should lead the peace. Others feared any central authority, preferring complete independence for all worlds. In the end, they formed the Galactic Cooperation, not a government, but a forum where all species could meet as equals. No species could impose its will on others. Decisions required broad consensus. As the gathering ended, Tom stood with Jane and Bill, watching ships from dozens of worlds depart for home. "So," Bill said, "not bad for a bunch of savages." Tom smiled. "Maybe that was our advantage. The Assembly was so convinced of their superiority, they couldn't imagine losing to us." "And now?" Jane asked. "What does Earth do in this new galaxy?" Tom watched as the Legacy took off, now part of a fleet dedicated to exploration rather than war. Dr. Anna had found coordinates for more Guardian outposts, hoping to learn from their wisdom rather than just their weapons. "We do what humans have always done," Tom said. "We adapt, we learn, we grow, and maybe we help others do the same." As Earth rebuilt and expanded into the stars, humans carried with them the memory of being called savages. But now the word had taken on a new meaning. In the new Galactic Cooperation, to be called savage meant to be fierce in defense of freedom, relentless in the face of tyranny, and unwilling to accept control by others. The Assembly had meant it as an insult. Humans had turned it into a badge of honor. And far away in the depths of space, the Guardian legacy lived on, not just in technology, but in the idea that different species could work together as equals, building something greater than any could achieve alone. The savages had built a better galaxy after all.